Okay, there's three reasons why the building is built in this shape. First and foremost is it looks really cool. That's number one. Number two, the building is designed to act as a giant chimney. So you're basically sitting inside a giant chimney. So there's a natural updraft so that the heat and smoke from the furnaces goes up and out the top. The third reason is historical. Along this waterway before the museum was here, there were a number of sawmills. The sawmills had big cone-shaped outbuildings where they burned the waste wood from the sawmills to dry the lumber. When the architect, Arthur Erickson, who designed this building, saw those buildings, which were also giant chimneys, that's what gave him the idea to make the building in this shape. The man in the yellow cap is our guest artist, Christopher Jordan, and he's discussing with Gabe Feenan, one of our glass blowers, how we're going to make this thing. We made a couple this morning, and they were okay, but we're going to try it a little differently this afternoon. So this is getting the one bubble inside each other and getting all the proportions, everything the way Mr. Jordan wants it, is a difficult task, so we're doing a little prototyping now. So just to get you started, I'm going to give you just a very brief introduction to how glass blowing works. Everything that we do starts out in our glass furnaces. The glass furnaces are the ones where you see the square holes in the steel wall and the door closed. There's one on each side of the studio. Behind those doors, there's a big ceramic tank. In that ceramic tank is 1,000 pounds of molten glass. If you look up on the big screen, you'll see a little diagram. So we keep the molten glass at 2,100 degrees, and at that temperature, the glass has the consistency of honey. So if you can imagine a giant crock pot full of honey, that's what our glass furnace is like. When we want to get it out to make stuff, we take one of those steel poles, and we dip it into the molten glass like you dip one of these into a jar of honey. So we dip it in, twirl it around, A little bit of the molten glass collects around the end of the pipe. The pipe itself is hollow, so when you blow, ball of glass blows up like a little balloon. If you want to make something larger, you let that bubble harden, and then you dip it in a second time and coat it with another layer of glass. And you just keep repeating that until you get all the glass you need to make the object, then you blow it up like a big balloon. All the glass that's in our furnaces is clear. It has no color. We buy our colored glass in the form of these bars. We buy it separate. We buy it like an artist buys paint. We buy red glass, yellow glass, blue glass. We blow a bubble of clear glass from our furnace. We cut off a chunk of colored glass. We heat that up, and then we melt a layer of colored glass over the clear glass. We then dip that in more clear glass. So what you end up with is something that looks colored, but if you cut through it, you would see it's just that one skinny layer. So if you look at this, this looks like it's made out of amber glass, but it's not. It's just like this. There's a very skinny layer of amber glass, but by the time it's blown out, for all intents and purposes, it looks like it's made out of colored glass. Now, if we were a big factory, we're going to make 1,000 things that were all the same color, then the factory just melts a tank of colored glass and they just dip into it. But here we're a bunch of artsy-fartsies, and we want to make a red thing, then a purple thing, then a blue thing. So we color each piece individually, and that allows us a great flexibility in color. So we can make something orange, then make something purple, then make something green. And so we have any color we want, anytime we want. You guys have any questions? Can we play color overlay? We have a little video show you how we apply the color while we wait for these guys.
The color in glass comes from adding various materials to the mixture of raw ingredients called batch. Most of the colorants are compounds containing some kind of metal. For example, adding cobalt to clear glass creates a deep blue. Tin and antimony can be used to create white glass, and gold chloride can produce a rich red or pink colored glass. Colored glass is melted in furnaces, just like clear glass, and then is usually rolled into bars for storage and easy application. In order to apply color bar to a bubble, we first need to preheat the color to approximately 950 or 1000 degrees Fahrenheit in a color oven or garage. Once warm, the color is then picked up on the end of a punty rod using a little bit of clear glass as a support. The color is then heated in the 2300 degree glory hole to soften it and make it malleable, while another artist creates a small bubble of clear glass on a blowpipe. Once warm, The color is dropped over the clear bubble, and then using a variety of hand tools or the steel marver, the color is rolled back over the clear in an even layer. This process is called dropping color, or creating a color overlay. Depending on the project, that bubble is then usually gathered over with clear glass and blown into the final form. The finished product may appear to be all made from colored glass, but when viewed in cross-section, we can see that there is only a thin layer of color sandwiched between many layers of clear glass.
So over on the left, Gabe has our first bubble. All the glass, when it's hot, looks some shade of orange, whether it's red, pink, blue, or purple. The color that you're seeing is the glow from the heat. If you think about when you look inside a toaster, when the wires are hot, they glow orange. You look at an electric stove, when the burners are hot, they glow orange. So does the glass. So the glass that we're working with now is as clear as your eyeglasses. It just has that orange glow. So Gabe in the black hat, Gabe Feenan, he's going to be making the little interior shape. We're going to make that first. We'll place it in this oven over here called the garage. We'll keep it warm. Then we'll make the big outer bubble. And then we'll stick the two together. The pad in Gabe's hand that he's shaping the glass with is just folded up newspaper soaked in water, ordinary newspaper. As long as the newspaper is wet, the paper doesn't burn, nor does it leave any marks as he shapes the glass. So most museums we go to, all the artists are dead. We got a live one here. So he's going to tell you a little bit about his project, and you can ask him questions.
Please, questions, please, please, please. Can you hear me okay? Okay. Hi, my name's Chris Jordan. I'm an artist from right here in town. And my background's in public art. So mostly I do mural paintings and outdoor sculptures and really large scale stuff. And only in the past like 2-3 years have I really got interested in stuff in the studio. But all the work that I do is kind of about like mediation, or how like information or images are transformed by the ways that they're shared and adapted to different types of situations. So some of the murals that I paint are meant to be seen like through your cell phone, which kind of transforms the image in certain ways. But also, last year I did my first like piece with experimental optics. It was at the Olympic Sculpture Park in Seattle, and I did some stereoscopic photographs around Tacoma, and had a ViewMaster that you can scroll through and see those different views. And it not in addition to showing you different kind of 3D pictures, it also had like it would manipulate and kind of play with the way that you experience the real-time world. And so when the opportunity came to do more work in glass and blown glass, I definitely got super interested in optical opportunities and ways that we can use the glass to play with light and all the images in that way. So there's kind of two parts to what I'm exploring with the team. And that's how it goes. So today I'm trying to recreate the illusion of a lunar eclipse, because like strangely in this like century we have like an abnormal amount of lunar eclipses taking place. So the few of the pieces that we're working on today are this kind of like bubble within a bubble that is trying to create that effect. And I'm going to be doing some work in resin afterwards. So using the piece as a vessel is going to be really important. And I'm going to fill that vessel with liquid and experiment with different textures on the inside. And then tomorrow, I'm going to be doing some more like nebula-like pieces that are going to be covers, glass covers for paintings that I'm working on. And basically, you would never see the actual painting the way that it's actually painted, but you just see it as it's transformed by the glass, and it's kind of like waviness and effects on top of the surface. So we'll see how that goes too. I hope that y'all get to check back and see things in the finished product and stuff, maybe on the museum Instagram and stuff like that. But yeah, any questions for everyone? Cool. Well, feel free to just wave if a question comes up, and I might seem super busy, but I'm actually they're amazing, and we're just trying. Basically, what we're figuring out is how can we make that bubble within a bubble and make it look as continuous as possible. So the team is experimenting with different techniques about how to get one bubble inside of the other one, and we played with a few things so far, and we're just kind of seeing what works. So it's going to be really interesting. There is going to be color introduced. Most of that's going to be tomorrow. But if we get a really successful one today, then we probably start with just a black, transitioning to like a smoky atmosphere. And then if that goes really good, then we might do one with that's more of a red glowing color. That's like really based on the lunar eclipse's look. So fingers crossed, and we'll see how it goes.
Thank you. So the part that Gabe is making is this part right here. This is how it looked from the front. This is the bubble that's going to go inside. The smaller one that's going to go inside the bigger one. You guys have any questions? You guys have no? You good? So Gabe is using a tool called the jacks, and he's widening the opening. So he flares it. His assistant is holding a wooden paddle in front of his arm to shield him from the heat. Wants to make this part a little wider, so he's heating the glass up so it's soft, and he's spinning it. And as he spins it, this part over here will stretch out with centrifugal force. We show some of Mr. Jordan's slides up on the big screen. This is one of his sculptures. He's a sculptor and a painter. He also works in digital media. That's one of his paintings. So that one wasn't quite the right proportions. We wanted to make the little flange on the bottom bigger. And so we're going to do it again. Yeah, we can recycle all our clear glass waste. We really don't have a good way of recycling our colored waste. The big tank we melted is all clear, so anything that's clear and waste can go back in. We save it in that big steel keg. So Sarah in the center, starting the bubble for our next try at the interior shape. Every once in a while, the steel pipes get hot. When they do, we take them over there. We have a little steel trough. We just lay the pipe in the steel trough, spray water on it to cool it down, make it easier to hold. Yes? The glory holes are the round ones with the doors open. Those are just a big brick barrel with a gas burner in the side. If you look up on the big screen, you'll see a diagram. Those are just a hot chamber for reheating and softening the glass. There's no glass in them. The furnaces, where you see the doors closed, those have the big tanks of molten glass in. They have the big tanks of molten glass in. That's where we store our glass. Can we put up the furnace diagram? So that's what they look like behind those doors. Each one of those, there's two of them. Each one has a ceramic tank with 1,000 pounds of molten glass in. So if you're watching the center bench, Sarah crouched down to the left of the bench. She the person that's blowing. She blows through the steel tube and inflates the glass while Gabe, sitting at the bench, shapes it. So we're trying to keep the proportions that Mr. Jordan wants. So every once in a while you'll see Gabe take out a pair of calipers and he's measuring to see that it's the right size. Over on the left, we have a special guest old-timer, Alex Sisser. And he's making what we call a twisty cup. He's one of the original glass blowers here at the Museum of Glass. Very talented guy. So there are two ways in which we heat up the glass. Sometimes we heat it up in the big round oven. Sometimes we heat it up with a torch. When we heat it up with a torch, like he's doing now, that allows us to focus the heat in a particular place. When we heat it up in the big oven, it kind of heats up the whole object. This way he can focus the heat just where he wants it, make just the part he wants to shape extra hot and therefore extra soft. So as Gabe shapes it with the tool, the metal tool called the jacks, Sarah is shaping the front end using a wooden paddle. Anybody got any questions? We're making this. This is the side view. We're making the interior shape. And we're going to have two bubbles, one side the other. And the design is sort of based on a lunar eclipse where the Earth casts its shadow on the sun. On the moon, rather, not on the sun. So we're making this shape here. We're going to make this shape separately, and we're going to put one inside the other. We're going to trim off a little bit of the thick glass right at this opening. When glass is hot, you can cut it with a scissors. Could we play the kids design video? We have a little video here, show you what we've done with some of the other kids.
It's a baby monster. Pip is a baby monster that loves to smile and laugh. Even though he's little and cute, he gives a big cry. Also, Pip loves food, especially bananas. He will eat any speck of food in sight.
Oh, it's amazing. Totally amazing. And especially if the pieces of art go traveling around, other kids will see, oh my gosh, I could do that too. You know, it's not just somebody else that, you know, they did it, you know, I couldn't do that. Absolutely not. Anyone can do this. And I think that's what it shows the kids.
Maybe not everybody can.
But, and
I think it's going to stand up there with one of the coolest things that that a museum has ever done.
What is it, a cucumber all dressed up for a night on the town? That's pretty ridiculously funny.
The funnest part about this project is how fresh the ideas are coming from the kids who they have no idea of glass blowing techniques. They don't care.
Nobody saw this coming. We'd make one piece and it was given to the family. And then we realized, well, wait a second, there's something more here. We started to get more drawings, more interesting drawings, and it really kind of snowballed a little bit.
Bacon Boy was special. The hat almost looks like a frying pan.
Maybe he's wearing Fred.
Bacon. I don't really do the word when they present this bacon.
Bacon, baby.
It's mine.
Oh, I see.
How's that for his arm?
Yeah, yeah.
I think it really brings it home and really shows that, you know, there's an artist in all of us, I think. So, and it's human nature to be creative. So I think we lose that as we get older sometimes, and it's cool to see this pure creative nature that children possess. So I think it's cool to share that with the rest of the world, hopefully. So.
Thank you for supporting Kids Design Glass.
So if you're here with kids 12 and under, just go out to the lobby, look to your left, you'll see a little glassed-in arts and crafts room, and they have markers and crayons and paper, everything you need to enter the contest. And it's free. Big bubble? Oh, no. So you've got the interior shape just about done, and over on the right, Alex in the blue shirt is starting the bubble for the big outside bubble. He's going to roll that glass on that steel table, make it into a little cylindrical shape, and he's going to give one little puff of air in there, and then he holds his thumb over the end the pipe, and the heat from the glass itself expands the air and blows out the first bubble. Do you guys have any questions? So Sarah in the center with the dark blue shirt is making what we call a three-prong punty, P-U-N-T-Y. We're going to use it to hold the interior shape while we place it in the bigger bubble. So she's going to attach him to here. Another one there. So it's just going to act as a temporary handle to hold this shape. How does the rod not get hot? The answer is physics. The rod is very long. It has a great deal of surface area compared to its mass, so it radiates. There's a lot of places for the heat to escape. Also, once you coat the end of the rod with glass, glass is an insulating material. People have fiberglass insulation in their house. So the glass on the end protects it from the direct heat of the furnace, and it's really long, and there's a lot of places for the heat to escape. So each time we dip it into the molten glass, like Alex has done, we coat it with another layer. Each time we dip it in, we call it a gather, taking a gather. And then we go back to the workbench and round that ball of glass out. So the tool in Alex's hand is called the block, B-L-O-C-K. It's made out of wood. It's stored in a bucket of water. As long as the wood itself is wet, the tool doesn't burn too much, and it doesn't leave any marks as he shapes the glass. Yes. Sometimes we get a gather, we have a little too much glass, so we drip the excess off into that steel can. We'll save that, and eventually that'll go back in the furnace. Starting in 1979, the number of Venetian masters So now we have all the glass, we have all the glass we need. Now it's time to blow it up to its full size and shape. So Gabe is squeezing the glass. Gabe is man at the center bench. He's making a sharp notch in it. That sharp notch will be the place where we can break the glass away from the metal pipe. The tool that he's squeezing with is called the jacks, and making that notch is called jacking it down. So the gray pad in Gabe's hand that he's shaping the glass with is just folded up newspaper soaked in water. Yeah? guys have any questions? Next thing we're going to do is transfer the glass from the rod it's on now to a second steel rod called the punty, P-U-N-T-Y. The punty, which Nick is making over on the right, that's going to act as a temporary handle to hold the glass from one side while we shape the other side. I do not know. I've tried to research it and I can't find out where that name came from. So we've got the punty now stuck on the bottom. In order to remove the glass from the original pipe, we're going to take a pair of tweezers, dip them in water, drip a little water where we want the glass to break, and then a sharp tap on the pipe will release it. You guys have any questions? Yes. Yeah, a little. Oh, we have safety systems on, so if the flame goes out, it shuts the gas, and then it rings our technician on the phone. He comes down here and relights them. Well, there's two types of furnaces. There's glory holes, which are the round ones that they're in and out of as they work. Those are only on during the working day. The ones with the doors closed are the glass furnaces. Those have the tanks of molten glass in them, and those are on 24/7. So we're going to widen that opening. We're going to make it wide enough so we can stick the interior shape through it. So we're going to make the hole big enough so that we can stick the other one through, and then we'll join the two edges. So Sarah has the interior bubble. Sarah over on the right in the dark blue shirt. In the center bench, they have the exterior bubble. We're getting ready to join the two. Hot glass sticks to hot glass. So here we go. Oh, not yet. This is a critical move. Hot glass sticks to hot glass. So once we touch these two together, we're committed. So we got to get it right on. You guys have any questions? Natural gas and forced air. Oh, I'd say they're probably around 400,000 BTUs. 400,000. So we've joined the two parts together. We're now going to break off the punty, the three-pronged glass rod. So, when we make a shape which is closed, we always leave a little hole in there. So he's got a drill, a regular electric drill. Chucked up in the electric drill is a sharpened tungsten rod. We heat the tip of the tungsten rod till it's glowing, and we can actually drill right into the hot glass. So the three-pronged punny that was holding the interior bubble leaves the little pieces of glass on the interior. So Gabe in the black hat is going down there and cleaning that up. Heating up the little pieces of glass with a torch to make them soft and cleaning them away. Just want to give everybody the heads up. It's 20 to 5. Museum closes at 5. If there's anything that if you haven't seen the exhibits or you want to go to the gift shop, anything like that, most of the rest of this thing is going to be cleanup. So if there's anything else you want to do here at the museum, now would be a good time. So everything we make has to be cooled off slowly. So we're going to take the sculpture off the metal rod and place it in our annealing oven, where it'll cool probably over a period of 2 days, I'm thinking. When we remove the sculpture from the metal rod, it'll be about 1,000 degrees. Sarah, in the green jacket, will put on some Kevlar gloves, and she'll carry the sculpture to our annealing oven. When we break it off, we'll leave a little chunk of glass on the very top, and that will be ground and polished off after the glass is cold. You'll see a little nub on top, but that's going to get erased. Flush. So Gabe will dip his tweezers in water, drip a little water where we want the glass to break, right at the joint between the sculpture and the metal rod. We'll give it a little tap, off it comes, and into our annealing oven, cool slowly. So let's have a hand for Christopher Jordan and the Museum of Glass Hot Shop team. Sarah Gilbert, Kristen Elliott, Gabe Feenan, Nick Davis.